So many times I get asked the question, Jeremy, tell me a little bit more about your story investing in real estate, how you got started, the lessons learned, the good, the bad, the ugly, how you got into a position today where you were really able to step away from the dependence on the W-2. So really my story primarily started early on in my professional career. I was very blessed early on to have just a fantastic opportunity in an industry that at the time I knew nothing about, other than the fact that I knew that I really enjoyed meeting with people, networking with others, building relationships with them. And so I was very blessed early on to be a top performer in the technology sales space. I was really the rookie of the year, year number one. By year number two, I was the number one guy in the division. And by year number three, I was actually the number one guy in the entire company out of over 6,000 other sales reps across North America. By the very young age of 24, I had zero debt, lived in my dream home, which my wife and I built. So things were going really well, and I really wanted to find a way to diversify outside of Wall Street and into Main Street. And that's really what prompted my wife and I to start up a fix and flip company. And this was during a time of the global financial crisis where we were able to acquire single family homes at a steep discount, put a couple $1,000s into these homes and then selling these properties at a profit. And that process for us was going really well. The challenge is back in 2015, my wife and I doubled down on kids. And so it was really a challenge for us at the time. I had a full-time, active, very demanding technology sales job where I was chasing after the next commission check, and the next bonus. But I also had this second business that was becoming a lot more active as opposed to passive. And my older boys wanted me to be on the hockey rink with them during practices and evening games and weekend games and those types of things. So we pivoted from active real estate ownership back in 2015 to passive real estate ownership. And that's when I cut my teeth in the passive limited partner real estate syndication space. The first decision that I made was really one of holding my breath and plugging my nose. I really didn't know what I was doing other than the fact that I knew, I liked, and I trusted the main operator of the deal. And I understood the business of renovating because I was renovating single family homes, and I understood, the value add component of renovating multifamily apartment communities. Fortunately, that investment, went very well. Things ended up panning out for me. But from really 2015 now until today, almost a decade later, my wife and I are in 60 different investments that span across a number of different asset classes. The primary goal and driver behind all of it is really to diversify, outside of Wall Street and into Main Street. And when you invest in Main Street, you've got a couple decisions. Number one, you can go start a small business. Maybe you buy into the playbook of a franchise business, for example, and you become, a small business owner in that regard. Or you can actually become a passive owner in a small business as well. And that was really what attracted me to multifamily real estate syndications, is I could still be treated like an owner as it relates to things like appreciation and equity buildup and the tax benefits associated, with small business ownership, but I didn't actually have to do the work, right? So I wasn't the guy, that was now responsible for evicting tenants, dealing with things like trash and toilets and termites, but I was still rather receiving, the same benefits as if I was an active owner. I just didn't have to do the active work, if that makes sense. So it was really a couple of years ago then that a number of my friends, family, colleagues, people that we go to church with, neighbors, they wanted to get involved too. And so I was really blown away at the amount of demand that exists out there today amongst busy professionals, high net worth individuals, folks that are looking to change, their wealth building trajectory, folks that are looking to diversify outside of Wall Street and into Main Street. And so I just casually started letting investors know what I was currently investing into myself, and really just simply giving them the option to partner with me on these investments. And so in a very short period of time, I was able to raise, really tens of millions of dollars from family, friends. Those are part of my personal and professional network. I founded a company called Starting Point Capital, and Starting Point Capital largely exists to help educate higher net worth individuals, busy professionals, people just like you, people just like me, that are looking for that diversification, those tax benefits. and really a different wealth building, strategy, outside of what maybe the financial advisor community, is teaching and advising clients on. I consider myself to be a professional passive investor, so much so that I authored a book just last year called The Fundamental Investor. That book is my lessons learned being a passive investor in the real estate space, that transition also that I made from active to passive investing. So certainly, if you're looking for more information, please do grab a copy of my book, The Fundamental Investor. It's available on Amazon, and that will really set you up to truly understand more of the details around this type of investing strategy structure, some of the lessons that I learned along the way. And so again, blown away, had a tremendous amount of success, with Starting Point Capital, and that really put me into position then to be able to join a best-in-class team. So now my role within Rise48 as the VP of Capital Formation is to help not only support, our investor community at large, but also to support our extended capital partner relationships. So those like broker dealers and registered investment advisors, family offices, wealth managers, capital raisers, and fund managers. Hopefully this gives you a little bit more of an insight into my background. Really appreciate you listening today. Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch soon.